Hey everyone, so today I'm filming a video where I talk about some of my favorite books that I own. So this isn't my favorite books video, these are just some of my favorite books that I own. So for various reasons these books mean a lot to me, so they might not necessarily be my favorites, but there might be a story behind it that makes me, you know, never want to get rid of this book. You know what I'm saying? So some of these are my favorites, but some of these just have like a nice story, you know, so I'm just going to talk about them. I thought it'd be really nice because I do love these books obviously, and I just think it would be cool to talk about why I love them. So it's kind of like if my house was burning down, these are some of the books that are on my top priority list to save. I have quite a few. I didn't really know how many I was gonna have, but I was just going through my bookshelf and I was like, okay, which ones? And I ended up with quite a few, but let's just get into it. So I'm just gonna randomly choose. So the first is this copy of The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Now I love this book. Like, I love The Book Thief. It's one of my favorites. So this is an instance where, yes, this is one of my favorites. This specific copy means a lot to me because it is signed by Marcus Zusak. So it says, "Dear Chloe, thanks Kaz for this," and then obviously Marcus Zusak. So yeah, basically Marcus Zusak, I'm pretty sure he lives in Sydney. Anyway, he did a book signing in Sydney, which is where I live. Kaz was like, "Are you going?" And I didn't even know about it. So I was like, oh my gosh, and I couldn't go. But she knew how much I love this book. So she was amazing because she's honestly one of the nicest people ever. She bought this copy for me and got him to sign it. And I still can't believe it. Like, she's truly amazing. And of course, this just means a lot to me. Not only do I have one of my favorite books personally signed to me, but it's also the story of the fact that Kaz, you know, got it for me because she's just that nice. So of course I would never get rid of this book. So the next two books have similar stories. Two subscribers knew how much I loved these books and got the author to sign the books to me and then send it to me. So it was amazing. By the way, I don't have my PO box anymore, so these were sent to my PO box before, but I ended up closing my PO box. So the first book is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. So my subscriber S knew how much I loved this book and got Victoria Schwab to sign this to me. You know, that is just so incredible. The fact that someone would go out of their way to do that and spend their time and money to do that, like, I just can't even you know, it's just too much. So of course this just means so much to me and I just love this book. This is, I think, my favorite Victoria Schwab book. So yes, it says, "For Chloe V. Schwab." It's just amazing. Also, I just love this edition. I hadn't owned this edition. Then I also have Girls of Paper and Fire. Once again, my subscriber Tess knew how much I loved this book and got Natasha Nyan to sign this to me. Here we go. And once again, it's just so meaningful that someone would do that. So of course I'll always cherish this. Then I have another copy of Girls of Paper and Fire. So this copy means a lot to me because Anissa, who runs Fairy Loot, so obviously I work with her because I am a Fairy Loot rep, I got to meet her at BookCon and she actually invited me to go out with her and Natasha Nyan in New York. Oh my gosh, just talking about it makes me sad because I wish I could have gone, but I was exhausted. Like, that whole trip was so exhausting, and also I think I felt a bit sick, so I couldn't go. Anyway, because I couldn't go, Anissa basically gave me this copy and got Natasha Nyan to sign it. And so it says, "Dear Chloe, I love your YouTube channel. Hope you love the second book. Lots of love, Natasha." Honestly, just reading that makes me so sad I haven't read the second book. But just how amazing, like, I honestly can't believe it. I actually forgot that's what was written in it. Like, it's just so surreal because this truly is one of my favorites. Yeah, like, so of course, absolutely love this. And then I have another copy of Girls of Paper and Fire. So yeah, I have 3 copies, but this is also one of my favorites because this was the one that I read from. So this came in the Fairy Loot box. It has the stunning pink edges. Oh, and it just like brings me back to those memories of when I first read it, and it's honestly such good vibes. And I annotated it and I vlogged when I read it. I actually finished this during one of my first 24-hour readathons, so I also have that memory attached to it. I just love all my 3 copies of Girls, Paper and Fire, and some people were like, made fun of me for having 3 copies, and I'm like, okay, they all have different meanings and I love them all. Anyway, so I just love that book and I really need to read the second book ASAP. Now let's just talk about a random edition. So this doesn't really have any sentimental value. I just absolutely love the cover. So, well, also the inside. So this is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. This is illustrated by Camille Rose Garcia and I just absolutely love it. Like, it is stunning. So basically, yeah, absolutely stunning cover. And then this is what it looks like under the dust jacket. And then the illustrations throughout are just so amazing. I love how it's like quite gothic and just such a different illustration style to what you usually see. So I absolutely adore this. And it's definitely one of my favorites. That's why I have it displayed outwards on my shelf. And then I have 2 other editions of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So this one, I absolutely love. One, because obviously it's stunning. It's just a huge book. It's pink, and if you didn't know, Alice's Adventures Wonderland is one of my favorites. So that's why I have quite a few copies. But yeah, so this copy is just so cool. I just absolutely love the illustration on the front. It's pink, I love it. Love the spine, love the back too. Also, this means a lot to me because my boyfriend Callan got this for me as a present, so he wrote a little note in the front. And I absolutely love receiving books from people and they write like a little inscription in the front, like it just means so much. So just love this copy. And then I also love this copy, which is I think part of the same collection. Like I think this is also a Barnes & Noble one. I could be wrong, but this is blue. It has silver edges. It's just so freaking cool. Love it, love it, love it. And I bought this for myself as a present. And in the front, I wrote, "To Chloe, happy 22nd birthday. You achieved your New Year's resolution to start a booktube channel this year, and I'm proud of you. Love, Chloe." And you got your Alice tattoo this year. So yeah, I got this for myself. And yeah, I got it the year that I started my booktube channel. So of course, it just means a lot. So, okay, so now I have Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I do absolutely love this book. The reason I was laughing is because the reason I love this so much, like this copy, is because I have this drawing of Simon in here. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know this story, but if you don't, basically for the booktubeathon last year, I think, I was one of the video hosts for the daily challenges. So I created the challenge to basically draw a book character in under 30 seconds, I think. And Kevin participated, Kevin from Irish Reader, and he drew Simon. And I'm sure we can all agree this is a masterpiece. So anyway, I just absolutely loved it. And his clip of him drawing it was just absolutely hilarious. Like that is actually my favorite video Kevin's ever made, like that vlog, because I just love that so much. Anyway, so he knew how much I loved it and then he shipped it to me. So this is the original, like this is rare. I could probably sell this. Anyway, so of course I was just so thankful to have it and I put it in my book. And I also have this cute sticker that I got at a Becky Albertalli event. But yeah, so of course this book just means everything because, well, one, I love it, and two, I have that amazing drawing that Kevin did. So, okay, the next book I have is Anna Dressed in Blood by Kenda Blake. I don't think I've ever talked about this book on my channel, but I loved this book when I was in high school. So basically, if you didn't know, I didn't really read much in high school. Like I read a few books, maybe like 10 total, but I didn't read heaps. Like I was intrigued by the idea of reading, but I wasn't like fully in it, you know? Anyway, so this is one of the few books that I did read in high school and I loved it. It's a horror, I think. It's not too scary, but it does involve this like ghost girl who is dressed in blood and, you know, she's scary to most people. And the main character is a boy called Cass, I think. Yeah, Cass. And he is a ghost hunter. So anyway, it was so fun. Like I loved this story and I don't think I would consider it like a favorite book of all time, but I definitely have really good memories with it and I just love how it's like one of the few books that I truly loved. And every time I look at it, it makes me happy. Honestly, I should maybe display it outwards because I also just love this cover. Penny also read it, which is also cool because we kind of, well, we didn't buddy read it, but I read it and then she read it and we talked about it. Well, I guess that's kind of buddy reading, but we didn't read it at the same time. Anyway, so I just have a lot of good memories with this book. I have a few tabs actually. Okay, so one of my tabs is the quote, "Living people are irritating." Okay, so I showed this book in a recent vlog, but I'm just going to talk about it again quickly. So this is The Snow Gum Fairies, and I loved this book in kindergarten. I would bring it to school every day and I just loved it. And I don't think I read it, but I just loved looking at the illustrations. So I literally wrote, I'm covering it because I have like my name and stuff like that, but I wrote "good book" on the front. And yeah, I just loved the illustrations. I thought it was the most magical thing, even though, like I said, I didn't even read it, I don't think. But I just loved it. So I would never get rid of this. Okay, so the next is this arc of Wicked Fox. And this is one of my favorite books, as you probably know if you've been watching my channel. But yeah, so I loved this book. I read it early because this is the arc, obviously. And I just have such good memories with this book because I read it on the plane to BookCon. So Kevin was sitting next to me and Parina. So I have that memory. And then I also met Catchaw in New York. So when I saw her, I was like, "Can you please sign my books?" So it's signed. So that was at BookCon, which was amazing. And yeah, just the fact that I have this arc of one of my favorite books and I have all those memories, just love it. Then I also have to talk about the finished copy of Wicked Fox because I just love this very limited edition so much. Like these pink edges, stunning. And of course, I don't think I mentioned, but I love the cover. Well, I have mentioned it before, but you know, I just love this cover. Okay, so of course I have to talk about Stranger Dreamer by Laini Taylor. A lot of people associate me with this book because I was so loud about how much I love this book, and I still do love it. It's not my favorite book of all time anymore. It was for a while, but I do still love it, like I said. And yeah, I just loved it when I first read it. It was just such a magical experience. It's one of the most unique reading experiences I've ever had because I was just completely transported into this world. The writing was just phenomenal. Like, I was blown away. So many good quotes. I completely annotated this book. This is one of my most annotated books. I've read it 3 times, so I have annotations from like the first read, the second read, and the third read. And this was also my first Patreon buddy read book. So I launched my Patreon in February, and this was our first book that we buddy read together. And the Patreon buddy read's honestly like such a highlight of my life. Like, it's just so fun. So I also have that memory, like it means a lot because of that. And I also just have such good like early booktube memories with this book. So this book means a lot, obviously. And then I have the arc of Muse of Nightmares. I felt like the luckiest person ever to have received this arc because obviously like just amazing, you know. So this arc is beautiful. So stunning. It has these sprayed edges. On the back it says, "This is the story of love and hate, revenge and redemption, destruction and salvation, and impossible choice." So this is definitely one of my most prized possessions. And once again, it reminds me of like the early booktube days. Just lots of good memories. Speaking of arcs, I also have Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I was when I got this. I didn't request it because I didn't even know they were doing arcs for Chain of Gold. So I just showed up one day and I was like, what? So it was just complete shock. I literally thought it was a joke. Like, I thought it was a prank or a dream. And it came in the most beautiful box as well. And I just find such comfort in the Shadowhunters world. So, you know, I was so excited for this book. And it was amazing. Like, I read it and it was amazing. So yeah, I just felt so special. And on the front it says, "We are entrusting you with an early copy. Please keep spoilers to yourself." So I just felt like it was just so surreal. And it is still so surreal that I have this. Okay, so the next one is Gyo by Junji Ito. So this isn't actually my favorite Junji Ito book. If you know me, you know I love Junji Ito. This isn't my favorite. I absolutely loved it still, like 5 out of 5 stars. But it's not my favorite one. So you might be wondering why I chose this. But the reason I chose this one is because this is my first Junji Ito book that I read. And also it's in my booktube profile pic, so. Okay, so now I have Art of Over the Garden Wall. If you don't know, oh, this is so shiny because of the ring light. If you don't know, Over the Garden Wall is one of my favorite TV shows. It's a Cartoon Network show and I just love it. So I love this book because this is obviously going through the art of it, and it goes through like each episode and stuff and just delves more into it, and I just love this. Like, I'm so happy to own it. It's just so cool, and I love learning more about the behind the scenes of my favorite shows and movies and stuff. So just absolutely love this. This is on my coffee table downstairs, and yeah, just love it. Another book from my coffee table is The Art of Junji Ito. So this is Twisted Visions. And this is one of my favorites simply because I just love Junji Ito's art style, and this book is a collection of his art and it's so cool. It's just so cool to flip through. Like, are you kidding? I just absolutely love flipping through this. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, the next book I have is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. And I do love this book. It's not one of my favorites. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Like, I did really love it. But the reason I absolutely love this copy is because Penguin Random House sent it to me. They sent it in this really cool box and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, it was amazing. And then later on when I was showing it in a book haul, I realized it was personally signed to me. So it says, "Chloe, thank you for your work creating and supporting readers. So needed and important, Hank Green." And then there's his iconic doodle. Yeah, like, how amazing is that? I didn't even know. And I loved the Green brothers growing up, so it just was like, whoa. So yeah, it's just super cool and I'm so happy to have this. Okay, and the last book is The Cruel Prince by Holly Clark. I do absolutely love this series, and the reason why this is one of my favorites is just because every time I look at it, I just remember the day that I read it. And I'm pretty sure I read like most of it in one day. So I spent a Saturday reading this in the morning until nighttime and just being so obsessed, so engrossed in the story, so captivated. I really annotated this book too, and I just have such good memories. Sitting in my bed reading this with Scruffy next to me. And I don't know why, but that was my favorite days. Like, it was just so good. So I just love this copy. And once again, it reminds me of like one of the early books that I was just so obsessed with. So just love it. Okay, so those are some of my favorite books that I own. I probably missed some but I can do another one in the future if I realize I missed a lot. But for now, these are some of my favorite books that I own, and it was so fun to make this video and talk about, you know, my different stories with all these books and just reflect. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you made it to the end of this video, put a pink heart emoji in the comments. If you're looking for more content from me, I have a Patreon where I upload extra content like extra reading vlogs, live shows. We do a monthly buddy read that is always linked in my description. Don't forget I have my other channels, Journal with Chloe and ASMR with Chloe. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, my handle is @bookswithchloe. So yeah, thank you so much for watching once again. I hope you're having a good day or night. My voice is literally dying. So I'll see you in my next video, and yeah.